Interesting. Listen, man, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Yeah, hit the like button for us right now, and then subscribe to the channel and then hit the notification bell too, so you know when we release new content. All right, so we live in DC. Well, most basically the top row except for Adrian. But Adrian is in the Charlotte area, so he might be able to speak to this. The Bronx, ain't nobody fucking with the Bronx, so y'all are fine.
Yeah. Chill. We ain't here.
So
Relax.
ain't
Yeah, I was like,
nobody
huh? What you say?
nobody doing this to the no fucking Bronx. So, question: is gentrification, and we see it all the time, in DC? I mean, it's heavy. Um, is gentrification about color or about money? Let me go with Adrian. Is gentrification about color or about money?
I don't know. Nah, because whatever I say, you gonna make me pick a side, right? And I'm in it. So can I just say I'm in the middle? I think we gonna say it's about bread, yo. At the end of the day, I think it's more about money. Yeah, final answer. It's more about money. If you got the money, you could do anything. Money drives everything, yo. I
Yeah,
think I definitely think some things are about race, but not as much as it is about money.
yeah. Okay.
Always, yeah.
Isha, gentrification about color or is it about money?
I'm gonna go with color initially because you have to realize that these are communities that they set aside for the impoverished or the black communities, and then when they seen value in it, now they want to move them out of that area so that they can build it up to make money. I lived in Virginia where I lived in the Hampton Newport News area where in Newport News downtown it was by the water because of the shipyards, but they had a lot of projects like projects on the water. They set this aside for impoverished black people, but now they see the value in the area. They're moving them all away from the water so that they can build it up. So
Yeah, that's the same thing. We have the wharf down here,
mhm.
the Navy Yard, um, even all the way up in Southeast. They have where Homeland Security is, so they've been kind of get that land as well. So I think that's a valid point. Uh, B, what you think? Gentrification about color or about money?
It's about color. At the end of the day, Isha hit on a good point. A lot of the areas, as you know, it's I guess you could say hood or whatever, and then whites they see the potential to come in, make money. It all usually starts with the house. They know that they can buy a house for dirt cheap, build it up, and when the majority of them move in, then the house value is going to go up. Then the blacks they're going to push them out into even a more impoverished area. And then in those areas where the whites are coming in, they're usually, like I said, they're just going to build it up, do what they want to do. Equity is going to go up. Equity, when whites move in, equity tends to go up anyway. So, yeah, I think it's about color.
So that's a good. So let me ask, Alex, can gentrification? So is this question flawed? Can gentrification even exist without color?
Hmm. Good
No,
point.
because I think you have to take it back to when you look at the city versus the suburbs years ago, right? Um, maybe even 20, 30 years ago, people wanted to live in the suburbs, right? You wanted to be away from the city folks because for them, a lot of them had factory jobs, they had manual labor jobs. The individuals, the American dream was to have your kids, your dog, and your white picket fence and live in the quiet area. We're now transitioning to an area of convenience, right? So the status of money means that I live a little bit closer to the city. I can walk here. I've got the Whole Foods here. I've got the Starbucks here. People have that. And especially in the DMV area, you've had individuals who've been living in these areas for years. A lot of them, unfortunately, not a lot, let me not say a lot, but you have individuals who weren't homeowners or their families passed down homes and they went ahead and they sold it. And then you've had people who just so happen to be white people. They've come up here, oh no, we want to be close to everything. We want this cohesive life. I want to be able to walk to the grocery store. I want to go to my yoga. I want to go to my Whole Foods. But in this time, I think it's about money. Money talks, especially in the DMV area. And now we're seeing people, and it just came out the other day that Prince George's County is no longer the richest.
Yeah.
It's no longer the wealthiest. It's Charles County. So what's happening is that a lot of Black people, if you're talking about color, they can no longer afford to live closer to the city. They're now having to move out. So for me, it's at this particular point in time, I think it's about money.
So one thing I caught, you said they just so happen to be white. What did you mean? Like, so it don't matter if they white, if they were Asian or Indian, it would have the same effect?
Well, I think specifically in the DMV area, the ones that we're seeing come into the area are white people. That's not to say that in other major metropolitan areas, they may be Asian or of another background, but at least here in the DMV area, they're white. And I think the issue that people have when it comes to gentrification is that you have, speaking into color and ethnicity and things like that, I think the issue that people have is that you're coming into this space and you're trying to get rid of the history, the culture that we have. There was something a couple of summers ago when white people were moving into the area and there was a ban on go-go music. This is a city, this is an area, this is what we do culturally, right? And also in New York, when the white people were moving in and they were complaining about the bodegas, like, oh no, we want to have this, we want to have that. So the issue is you're having people come in these masses and you want to live in this, you want to live in the city, but you still expect it to be like the suburbs where it's going to be quiet, where after 10 o'clock, we're not going to hear the music. People aren't going to be outside. You can't have both. And I think that's a huge issue and a huge clash what I'm seeing now when it comes to gentrification in these areas.
Okay. That's a good answer. Eddie, what you think? Color, money, or can we not have it without color? Go ahead.
It's definitely color, money, and racism. There's a book I read a while ago, The Color of Law, where it breaks down redlining, right? You already have a color there. Where they initially started this bullshit in Chicago and how they pushed a lot of the affluent Negroes out of Chicago into the ghettos, right? Same thing with, if you're unaware, what Central Park in New York City used to be called Seneca Village. Profoundly rich ass Black people, right? They decided, don't want you niggas to live here no more. They violently moved all of those Black people. And there's a small little memorial like on 72nd Street. And it talks about, how those people used to live there, right? So it's definitely about the color. It's definitely about racism. And it's definitely about money. So if you're able to afford some of these places, right, with the way Pharrell coined these new Blacks, and, they're assuming that because they're amongst the higher echelon of salaries and living in a particular neighborhood, it's like those neighborhoods are mostly affluent, they're mostly white, or they're mostly white passing. Right, so it's just like you might be the Negro on the block, but you're still a Negro on the block. So I would say it's all those three things.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Anybody else have any thoughts on the topic? Go ahead, Nay.
I was kind of thinking about it in the sense where money kind of has a color. Our people aren't always seen as having money, so. With that said, we're not able to afford to live in the most affluent places. And then you have these developers that will come in and they'll want to build it up because like Isha said, they see it as valuable and then they'll push us out and ends up having to go to more blighted communities and impoverished areas. So I guess it can kind of be a little bit of both. It's money talking, to be honest with you.
I think
I got a quick question, Hamp, y'all.
Yes, sir.
So why can everybody else pick multiple answers, but when I normally pick multiple answers, I get a little ding or something, or pick a side, and you can't be on the fence. But everybody listen multiple things. I feel some type of way right now, man. I think we need to put you in the bathroom, yo.
Because you know what? Let me answer.
Put him in the fucking bathroom. Get him out of here.
Because what she just did was she had multiple answers in one answer. You have one answer, then everybody else speak. Then you have another answer. That's the difference.
No, I don't.
Q on your top for some reason. She want to argue with you.
You're wrong. I never.
No, but you know what? We ain't even gotta argue about it because the episode will take.
That
Episodes of
find
tape.
the tape. Find the tape. Find the tape where I say something, then after everybody else speaks, I change my position. That never happens. That never happens, Q. Find the tape. Please
There you
find the
go.
tape. And then we'll start next week's episode off with playing the clip.
Now y'all know I'm good for that too. Pay attention to the group chat.
Adrian, Sinead is making. I'm just happy she's giving an answer that's cohesive. So
The answer that what?
It's cohesive. So, because sometimes you be, when we talk about the Bible, you be all over the place and shit. This you've been more concise. So,
okay.
And I'm just timing Eddie's answers, Adrian, because sometimes they take very, very long. So I don't want to say anything to him because he'll continue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Eddie be on it.
I keep it short, bruh.
Get the fuck out of here,
bruh.
Eddie be educating the masses though. Eddie be educating the masses.
That Seneca Park though, that's very, very important. Mm-hmm. And even like DC, like with the white flight, you can pinpoint it almost to like I think it's like 1963 when white people just fled DC, right? And the suburbs were more expensive, and then as they come back, the city is way more expensive. Okay. Any other thoughts on this topic? Good. Interesting, man. Yeah, I think it now that everybody has given like an answer, I'm thinking that it's more all inclusive. Because initially I'm thinking it's money, because I think that technically, if I was just speaking for myself, I would be a gentrifier. Right? If you base it on like income and so on and so forth, but the demographic has to matter. Because if I move to the community, does it bring value? Like B said. And the answer may be no. So that was a good like clarification for myself. So for them, so it is what it ought to be, man. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend. Oh, and we out.
And we out.